Don't shut it off. I'm warning you.
Welcome to Strange Glow Videos. Well, that's what I heard.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your team?
Hosted by Alec, Justin, and Nick.
Well, that's what I heard.
All right, welcome back to Strange Glow Video. Today, Alec and I are going to be talking about Ghostbusters Day 2024. Welcome, Alec. How are you doing tonight?
Yay! Ghostbusters Day 2024.
So I feel like Ghostbusters Day, like some years we get some like crazy stuff and some years it's just kind of quiet. And for the 40th, I thought it would be a lot louder than it was, despite, plenty of events going on. Just didn't seem like there was a lot of announcements. Now, granted, we've had plenty of announcements around things. Physical media release of Frozen Empire coming up in a few weeks. Had the digital release not too long ago. I've gotten plenty of emails, saying, hey, buy all the digital copies together. We've got these on sale, discounts for Ghostbusters Day and things like that. But trying to level set expectations for what we'll actually get, because I was thinking, if they're going to announce an Ectofest, they would have done it by now. And it looks like that at this point was a one-time thing. I'd love to see that be something more regular, but we'll see what happens in time.
Here's the thing: I'm not gonna like sit here and bitch about them not doing more with Ghostbusters Day. I'm just not gonna pretend to be excited about the lack of anything. Literally, I mean, it's what. No, I'm not like sad that I'm not like upset that we weren't invited to anything, because that's fine. That's fine. I have no issue with that. Like, especially because nothing happened. I'd have been even more bummed if we traveled. But it's just kind of like, I don't know. We did what we can. We put out collection videos. I think that was pretty fun. It's fun to like kind of look back on it. Every year I'm trying not to have an expectation of like, oh, we need some high grade shit. Like expecting them to put Star Wars level effort or Marvel level effort into the fucking Ghostbusters or anything. But I'm also, like I said, just not going to act excited about the, hey, we announced something, kind of one thing, and then Sony Pictures gave us an update like the animation studio a couple days before, but like that made us think, oh, we're going to announce at least the title, or I don't know, a teaser image, something. But
yeah, I feel like that was the only misstep, and like, to not sound like an ass about it, but it just seems like, okay, so they announced that a few days before Ghostbusters Day, so we figured there was an announcement surrounding that. And so to me, it would have been better just to release that on Saturday saying, hey, happy Ghostbusters Day, this is still in the works. And if you don't have anything to show, that's fine. That'd have been good. But a few days before, I think, is where that really kind of threw things through a loop, and you're like, huh, okay.
Yeah, I did not. Here's the thing about the announcement they did. So I didn't even get this new Plasma Series Ecto 1 and the O-ring figures. I wasn't that concerned about it. I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool, but and now that they've announced this new thing, it's kind of like, I feel like everybody who just pre-bought this and the O-ring figures is like, swing, I believe this knife is yours.
Yeah, I mean, as a Ghostbusters fan, I love Ecto 1s and I love collecting, so I'm not disappointed that I've got the 84 Ecto to go with the 89 Ecto, and then I've got the O-ring figures on order. It's just interesting how that's played out, because obviously, I think it's pretty well known that the Afterlife toy line just didn't sell amazing due to a number of reasons, right? Releasing of marketing, releasing of when that all happened with the pandemic. There's just too many variables to say, hey, this was 100% successful. And so I think that made it hard, and I think that made Hasbro very reserved with it, even though they've seen how successful everything is as far as the crowdfunding stuff's been. So I think they're trying to just go the safe bet route and just get that directly to the consumer. They don't have to negotiate shelf space or any of that extra stuff. Sure. And so I'm pretty excited about the new HasLab. I do have a few concerns with it, but I guess for me, I'm really hoping to see what we could do with it. I've got some really awesome like ideas going through my mind that could really make this thing pretty amazing with some stretch goals.
Yeah, like blowjob ghost as an accessory.
That would be a good figure for an independent toy maker to make. I don't know who would be able to do that anymore, though.
God damn it. God damn it.
I
Anyway.
mean, if you just made the 3D file, anyone could print it themselves, and then you'd probably be good.
God damn it. Anyway. Yeah.
So stretch goals, right? So the hard thing about doing a 1/12 scale Ecto 1 to go with the Plasma series, not only is it confusing because they already released the other one as the Plasma series Ecto 1, that made it a little difficult, especially for the 80 or the Afterlife version. So calling that Plasma series, and then you're going to make this in scale with the 1/12 scale action figures that were Plasma series, right? I think it's a naming thing that's kind of confusing. And so someday down the road, somebody's going to be on the eBay or secondary market and like buy that Afterlife Ecto thinking it's a Plasma Ecto and thinking they're getting a really good deal. And they're going to be like, this doesn't fit these figures.
Yeah.
It's going to confuse people down the road.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm glad I didn't buy that one. I will buy this one most likely. As long as I have the money at the time when it comes out, which it sounds like they're doing fall.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. So that was another interesting thing. Like I know Hasbro was on site in New York City at the Firehouse because they had a pretty good event there, hosted by the New York Ghostbusters and the Buffalo Ghostbusters. They always do their big fundraising event up there. We had a ton of friends that were out there. We had plenty of friends that were out in LA as well. So it was like, pick your poison. Whichever coast you went to, you had something fun to do, but nothing like groundbreaking new, right? The O-ring figures look pretty good. I don't love the khaki color on them. They could still change that, but it's a small point in the grand scheme of things. Like really, does it really matter? Probably not. So, but I just see a lot of potential with this Ecto 1 because when Matty Collector was doing their crowdfunded Ecto 1, like I was all on board for it. And, I think there's just so much potential now. Like, which Ecto do you do? Do you do the 84 original? You
Well,
don't
here's the
do
thing.
Afterlife. Do you do Frozen Empire? You can't do a 1A necessarily because that's just too much retooling in a completely different vehicle. So,
yeah, I think the stretch goals are going to be some sort of conversion between Ectos. I don't know how far it'll go or it won't, or if it'll be more of like not a conversion, but more like a permanent thing.
Yeah.
Like extra sets of decals and things that would be permanent. I don't know.
Well, so one thing I see as an option, and since I've got the 84 Ecto that just came in here recently, so like if you're listening to this podcast, just jump on the YouTube and check it out because you'll kind of be able to see what I'm talking about. But these front panels over the wheel wells where that pinstripe would be on the Frozen Empire Ecto 1, I think they could easily make that a piece that either comes off completely and is painted because some people may want to convert back and forth, especially if you do toy photography or toy displays, depending on what you have around. So I think that would be pretty unique. And then the other thing would be the seat configuration. Obviously, this has been retooled, but would the stretch goal be to do the gunner seat? Would that be an option, or would that just come standard? Like I see them being able to do like the upgradable kit to Frozen Empire or the downgradable kit to 84, however you want to word that or whatever your plans are. I think that's pretty manageable because it's not drastically different, right? Obviously, your blue tubing would be able to go to the metallic looking version from the Frozen Empire. So I think that's an option. And then
what's going to be hilarious if it's just the Frozen Empire version? That'll piss people off.
I feel like that version would be easy to back convert though. Like you could just paint a few things blue and probably pull the dome off for the trap drone.
Yeah, but once you do something like that, it's not the same. I don't like altering things at all unless it's for restoration purposes, like cleaning it and mostly and stuff. Once you paint something, it just bums me the fuck out.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know. That's just me. Like it's just like.
See, I'm the opposite because plenty of the Plasma series that Hasbro already put out, I did some touch-up painting and things like, some of the guys had green elbow pads, so I painted those gray to kind of make them look more accurate.
Well, they were black, weren't they? Not gray.
I think the Afterlife ones came like a dark green color. They weren't the gray color, and then the 84 original first wave Plasma series was all black elbow pads. So it was kind of an interesting thing. Like, how did that get through? I mean, I get that you're paying extra for paint, but I don't know how that all works out just as far as making that at a price point. So
I don't want to. I'm already tired of bitching about toys now. It's useless. They've just been doing the same things over and over for, I don't know, since 2009 at this point with Ghostbusters. They just hand off the company every couple of years to somebody else who tries it, and then we end up here bitching about toys and re-releasing the same things. We're getting some new stuff right now though, which is good, but like also more of the same. I'm not excited right now for anything except for the physical release of Frozen Empire. That's what I'm looking forward to as far as Ghostbusters, and then this Netflix show. But I'm like, there's no news on it, so I'm not going to be like thinking about it often. I'm just going to wait till they do it, because I don't want to be a negative Nancy, and that's how I feel today.
I'm pretty hyped up about the Ecto one, because the nice thing is it's going to fit all your Mattel figures too, in theory, right? If they're scaled. So you'll have a lot of options, especially for toy photography or for displays. There's going to be so much to do with it. But the thing I'm most excited about is the stretch goals. And then are they going to announce another wave of Plasma Series figures to go with this and help boost that, right? Or would they basically say, if this gets crowdfunded, then we'll actually release this wave of Plasma figures? Or is this going to be like an insane crowdfund where it does the Ecto and a whole wave of figures at once? Like, that's a very possible option. Because that would save on packaging and shipping and everything else if you do it all as one giant kit. If you're going to go Frozen Empire, though, you mentioned earlier that like the red jackets, the red parkas is like a bonus stretch goal, like to pack in with the Ecto would be awesome for the 6-inch figures.
Well, because we want them to be soft goods, and you can do them away for that scale. That'll be nice, because they are a little puffy in nature, so it won't look too stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because sometimes soft goods look terrible, like on the scale of the figure, just because
they don't have weight.
Yeah,
it just looks like a toy wrapped in a fucking washcloth or something. Like, it doesn't look. You can't ever, unless they use like that. There's a couple that have interesting things. Like I had a Darth Vader cape at one point that was like silk, so it was really thin, like almost like glasses cleaner on his back.
Okay,
like that.
Yeah.
That worked.
Yeah, I feel like the old Kenner Batman. First wave Kenner Batman capes were pretty good.
Similar, right?
But then by the time they got to, and that was for the Batman Returns, right? Because they didn't do the original Batman 89. But then by the time they got to Batman Forever, they started switching to like some of those molded capes.
They had rubber molded capes for Batman and Robin. I remember that orange Batman with that.
Yeah, and some of those look good, but they're not fun to play with because of that. Like, you just want that loose motion on a caper like that. Now, if you're selling it to an adult collector that wants to display something, I'm all for like a solid cape that doesn't move a lot. But I think they have an option to do some really cool red parkas for this stuff. I mean, it's a very feasible thing they could do for the pack-in or as a stretch goal.
What did you think about the Puma shoes?
Unless they make a vegan version, really don't give a fuck.
Are they like leather or some shit?
Lots of Puma have like the leather stripes or faux leather, and since it didn't say anything on there, and to be honest with you, like that kind of brown looking color, I'm like, I get it. That like, there's been so many Ghostbusters shoes out there now. I'm just like, I'm not going to
buy them or anything, but they looked better than most designs that I've seen.
Yeah.
Because they put out a lot of Ghostbusters shoes, and sometimes they're just fucking hideous train wrecks. And the only one I actually have is those Slimer pair that we got at FanFest, which are what fucking brand is that? K-Swiss?
Yeah, K-Swiss. Yeah. So the Ghostbusters shoe license has gone through a ton of them. If someone's going to do some shoes, though, like I would love to see someone like re-release like the styles we wore as kids. Like they used to have all the real Ghostbusters style shoes or Ninja Turtle style shoes from so many vendors. Like someone still got those designs or recreate those for an adult.
Listen, the way to do this is to do adult-sized Velcro shoes that light up with red and blue lights when you step, and they're Ecto 1 shoes.
Oh, yeah. See, that would be dope.
So they're white with the logo on the side and whatnot, So it's a pretty simple shoe. It still looks like a nice shoe, but then it has that stomper effect and they're Velcro too. Fuck
Mhm.
yeah, that's a shoe. Give me the
Yeah.
license. I'll take care of it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of options there.
Or just a pair of slip-ons with Vigo printed on them. You know.
Well,
Be
do
sick.
one side Vigo, do one side the fettuccinis, right? That'd be awesome. Like, there's a lot of options out there to do something pretty unique with that. But I gotta say, back to this 1/12 scale Ecto, which is what we're all assuming it is based on that HasLab logo they released, which pretty cool art. I like that. I liked how they incorporated the Ecto 1 fin into it and everything else. But it's like, I don't think I'm going to be super satisfied unless I get a Frozen Empire Wave of Plasma Series figures to go with it. Like, I don't have Gary in a jumpsuit. I don't have Callie in a jumpsuit. Like, Trevor, we've already got. He hasn't changed his look too much besides having more accurate gear in boots and all that stuff. And then Phoebe's grown so much, we need that. And then, we need a Garaka of some sort. Like, we need ghosts. I feel like that line just is lacking in ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
So give me a stretch goal to have the ghost in there, right?
They didn't even do a Plasma Series Slimer.
No.
That's wild to me.
Well, and I think now would be the time, right? Especially with this, since they went back to kind of that classic GB1 style look. So I think there's a lot of options for the stretch goals. I just don't know what they're going to be. And what's your price point for paying for an Ecto 1 of that scale?
What was the other scale? The other one, 1/8 or something? That we have?
The Blitzway?
No, the fucking one that we have, the Plasma Series.
Oh, that is
1/10, 1/8, 1/6.
no, it's a higher number than that because a 1/6 scale would be like pretty big, right?
Oh, yeah. So it's like 1/10, 1/9, 1/8.
1/12, I think would be, or I mean 1/18, I think is close to what that scale would be for those.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I'm fucking talking about.
Yeah, so the 1/12 was basically every foot equals an inch, so that's why a 6-inch line's basically your 1/12 scale.
That was like $60. I don't know. Knowing them, it's going to be like $250 or $300 fucking dollars. So we'll see.
I got a feeling we're looking around 300 because I want to say when Mattel was talking about doing it, like it was around that same price even back then. But I feel like Ghostbusters has enough traction now with 2 new films to make this pretty easy. So I got a feeling we're going to see around that $300 price point. Now, if they throw in a full wave of Plasma Series figures to go with it and try to do it all at once, I could see a $400 price tag pretty easy. Because they know they had the pack, which was what, 500 plus shipping and everything else. So you're looking around 580 to 600, depending on taxes and everything else all in without a wand. If you already had a wand,
I'm thinking it should be, if it's going to include lights, sounds, and, be nice, it should be around 200, considering the other one was like 60, right?
Yeah, and you look at the Lego Ecto 1, which the scale isn't there, but it has a ton of pieces, and that's like 200 without any features, right? And Lego's notoriously very highly priced, which it's just for the quality and craftsmanship of that. They've kind of cornered their market and done well with how they've managed their brand.
Plus, whenever they're doing something that's a partnership with somebody, I'm sure the price is more so they can change what they're making.
Licensing fees you pay to sell that product or whatever else. So, yeah. So I think bare bones, like 200 would be fair. If you're going to have figures and other things in there, you could hit the 300, 350. And I mean, if you do like a full wave of figures in there, you could easily hit 400. I don't know. I'm guessing we're going to see something around the 300 price point.
Yeah.
And who's to say that this doesn't already plan on including the figures? You know what I mean? And I think 300 with some stretch goals would be pretty manageable. It was interesting though. They showed off, at least in New York, they showed off the O-ring figures, which I was kind of hoping they just take that O-ring size scale and run with it because you could re-release all the figures and do 4-packs or multi-packs like that at a pretty good price point. Yeah. And to me, that seems pretty fair. Because the 4-packs of those were only like 45, obviously plus shipping. That's why I pre-ordered through Big Bad Toy Store because they have a $4 flat rate ship, which I think I paid $12 shipping through Hasbro for the Ecto one. Not terrible, but if someone's going to give me a better shipping rate, I'll wait a few more days, save a few bucks. I'm on a budget these days. I was surprised we didn't get a 2-in-the-box update. You know, they've been teasing it for a while. We've kind of been seeing in the forums that they had some updates for fans and everybody else, but like, when are we going to see more of that?
I was too broke, so we'll see. I eventually might be able to try to acquire some aftermarket ones. Because the pack didn't go up like everybody thought it would. It's a little more expensive, but it's not like crazy yet, so.
Yeah, and there's some people seeing super high prices on those, but I don't feel like those are all US sellers. Like I think you can get like a pack and a wand for easily around 900 nowadays, maybe even less. So
I still feel like I see packs selling for 600-700.
oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I have the wand, but I have an extra wand, so I don't need one.
Yeah. The only reason you'd want the other one is because they fixed the inside of it where that cable for the pop mech gets severed. So if you're going to use it a lot for cons or, you know, cosplay, then
I'm not.
yeah. If you're just going to display it, then you're all set.
That's the thing. I have this other one. It's fine. My pop mechanism still works fine because I don't pop it all the fucking time. And if I do, I'm careful with it. Usually I don't let it just jerk out by itself.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I was hoping we'd get a vinyl announcement for the soundtrack for Frozen Empire, but maybe that'll come around eventually, maybe by the holidays. And then, you know, I think there's some more announcements around Halloween this year is kind of what Eric said when he was on Extraplasm recently. And so there's got to be plenty going on, but I just don't know where the focus is. Is it on the 40th anniversary? Is it on Frozen Empire? We seem to be kind of
new stuff.
Yeah, it seems to be kind of in the middle of the ground. Like, so when a franchise is 40 years old, right? Obviously, Hasbro still sells a lot of Darth Vader figures, right? Star Wars still sells plenty of that. So, do you go away from that bread and butter and try to expand, or do you try to stay where you know you're going to have some new marketing for that? I just don't know at this point. Like, I'm open to it all. Like, I just want to see the line continue to grow and be successful because I love collecting this stuff. And it's just like having the patience to wait for it, which I don't mind waiting, right? Right. That helps my wallet.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm glad they didn't do more with this announcement. I'm glad they didn't launch the fucking thing for it today, and that they're like, hey, it's coming October, so I can kind of have that on my mind.
The only thing I don't like about HasLabs when they do them in the fall is like it's just around when so much other stuff is done. As far as like, hey, we're shopping for the holidays, like, you know, hit me right after back to school before Halloween. You know, like launch that in September, I'd be a happy camper. And then ship me the 2-in-the-box before Halloween, I'll be real happy. And then the other products that are out, I don't believe in any of this crap. And I say that with the most respect to people that do, but
I don't know about respect, but like, yeah, you can believe that, but
the tarot card set, I pre-ordered this like over a year ago on Amazon, and the release date just kept changing over and over. But this set's really nicely done. It's through Inside Editions, and they've done all the stuff they've done for Ghostbusters has been great. The guidebook on all the cards is really beautiful, and then the cards themselves are really high quality. The packaging is really well done.
is anybody hanging dong on the cards?
Let me see. I haven't even really looked through them all yet. I mean, the art, like, look at that Vigo card right there. Beautiful.
What's he?
The Emperor.
Nice.
So there's some good stuff in here. Like, this is just kind of one of those niche things
Do they
I
have
thought was fun.
Read out some of the names. I'm curious if they changed them or if they're kind of like sticking to what cards usually say.
So there's one of Venkman's as the Fool. Tully is the Magician. Zool is the High Priestess.
Sick. Okay, show me that. So yeah, so the names are, for the most part, those are all real names.
Yeah, the Empress here for Dana in her Gozer form.
Nice.
Or not her Gozer form, but her Zool form. Sorry. Someone's going to correct me and be like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's see. The Hierophant is the Vin's Clortho. The Lovers. I love the color scheme they used on this. This is just so fun. Like such neon 80s colors. Beautiful. The Chariot is obviously the Ecto 1.
It looks like an old, like the colors remind me of an occult textbook from like the 70s.
Yes. Now, looking at all this, the Wheel of Fortune, that's a pretty cool one. This just makes me want a Ghostbusters. What am I going to say here? I'm losing
Ouija
my mind.
board.
Yes. Because they had a really cool Halloween 3 Season of the Witch Ouija board, but I just like, it was overpriced for what it was. Didn't get it.
Just make yourself one.
Yeah, I probably could and just get it. And well, hell, I could probably just get one out of wood and just do the whole thing with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say paint it. You could probably just design it on Photoshop and then print it.
Yeah, that's true.
Go
Well,
glow in the dark one.
Baby Oscar as the world. So this is a pretty cool set to get, just as kind of a casual fan of obscure Ghostbusters things. Seems like something that'll sell well enough.
Yeah.
These are much smaller than I thought they would be. Kind of like when I got these in Novos Zener card set. And they're like the size of a deck of playing cards. And you're like, what?
Yeah, that's a bummer. I have 2 of the big sized ones, but they're the ones I got signed at FanFest. So
Yeah, and the ones I got, the full size ones, are ones I got from a magic shop online. Because there's people that will sell you like replica Ghostbusters ones, and they'll just give you one of each, and they're like $30 or $40. I'm like, that's crazy considering you can get a whole set and play a game with somebody. What else? Like, was there anything you were expecting, or?
No, I'm pretty much cashed out on this one. Unless you got anything else to say, I'm pretty much out.
Yeah, no, man. I mean, I think if you hadn't checked it out, like, make sure you go check out the physical media collection video re-recorded. I've got one on my YouTube page. Alec has a super extensive one of both of our collections. It's like damn near every format. I think there's only a handful of them out there that we didn't have at least something to show for.
Yeah. I mean, there's no Ghostbusters 8-track. There's
So I think there's like a Super 8 video that I've seen a few people have collections of, but I haven't found that version. And then like there's a thumb drive version that they released. I haven't found that one on eBay recently either. So there's a few formats that are just like, all right. But beyond that, I think I've got many of them.
Yeah, it's a full like 30 minutes of us talking about every Ghostbusters VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, record, cassette, Laserdisc, video disc, Betamax, and video game that we have. So it's on my Ecto Violence channel. It's pretty sick.
Doing that video just made me realize how many video games I need to go collect, like the Extreme Ghostbusters games, the Game Boy games, the real Ghostbusters. There's plenty of stuff out there. So, yeah, let us know what you thought of Ghostbusters Day in the comments. Like, were you happy, sad, indifferent, just waiting for what's next? How many times have you watched Frozen Empire? Like, I rewatched that the other day. Loved it just as much as the first several times I watched it. So
I haven't watched it since the second time in theaters, but when it comes out on Blu-ray, I'll be buying it.
I bought it immediately on digital just because I was one of those assholes that needed to see all the extra releases, the special content on there, and see it for myself. And then I've also got the Steelbook 4K Blu-ray on pre-order right now through Amazon. So
yeah, you should check out that physical copy video, because he also shows off the Extreme Ghostbusters, which I've actually heard some people say that there's some issues with some of the episodes. Like they look a little blurry and shit. They are saying like they don't look the best, but like I'm just happy to have them. But yeah, it is a little like I haven't purchased it yet, but it's down to 35. I think it was 20 at first, and then took that down and put it at 40. It's $35.99 now, and you can hit my affiliate link to get that price in that description of that video. Put a
Yes.
couple links in there.
It's a lot of discs, which I think is why the price is so high. I don't know why they didn't just throw it DVD quality into like one Blu-ray so you could just watch a ton of them. Like, I'm all for fewer discs to have, but this way it looks nice in the collection. I've got it sitting next to the real Ghostbusters and then the Ghost Trap collection of the live action movies.
Yeah.
So, we'll be back sooner than later, before you know it, with another episode. But go check out the Ecto Violence channel on YouTube, and then you can see my channel, Mr. West Studios, on YouTube. And we'll have all kinds of content across all 3 platforms here, or all 3 channels. So check those out.
Thanks for watching.
Your mother